There we go. Now, I don't know why this is gonna lag like hell until I fix this. You remember disable arrow. Okay. What's on the fly today list? Well, we're gonna be starting in Armageddon. We'll see where we go from there. Alright. Drones already stowed away. I like it. You're pretty ready for some action. So after flying this thing the other day, I think it may still work without a web of fire. I was doing a lot of my combat at like 30 cam or so web of fire wouldn't really be helping me the way I was using the Armageddon. But it felt like it didn't have enough nuding power, so I dropped a rapid heavy missile launcher for a third heavy nute. Personally, it feels like a little bit of overkill, but we'll see if I'm able to put it to good use. If anything, what it will allow me to do is demolish the cap of a singular Logi cruiser if they stay in range. So, has me with a little bit of hope for this ship. Maybe I can do some crazy stuff with it. Who knows? Yeah, it's single rep with no plate. So that's another thing I did. In order to fit the third heavy nute, I dropped my 1600 plate. So it's going to have a lot less buffer to it. Which I don't know if I necessarily like, but another thing I noticed when I flew this thing is that I was kiting. God forbid I was kiting in Armageddon. Who would have thought? But so I pretty much replaced that plate with a little bit extra tank. I swapped over AMP over to Ender's Adaptive. This should be Tech 2. I'm gonna swap this back over to a Tech 2 damage control, a little bit more EHP out of the damage control, and then put it through on a nanofiber. Now, if I get stuck into a brawl, that's not going to help me at all, but if I am able to play kind of the range game and actually have to activate my MWD a few times, then that nanofiber should pay off a lot. Nixarin, you just got done watching an old VOD. Over on YouTube? Is that what happened? Over on YouTube? If so, nice. Yeah, well, Zaturan, like, the way I see it with the newts, it's not necessarily just for one ship that I'm going to be newting. I'm always going to be newting more than one ship. And another thing about two heavy newts is that it seems that even if I'm staggering them, it's going to give the cruiser enough time to get some cap back. It seemed anyway when I was newting T1 cruisers. So it should allow me to utterly destroy the capacitor of a 1 T1 Logi and 2 other T1 cruisers. Also allow me to potentially newt out destroyers, that sort of thing, quite effectively, so they can't do anything. So we'll see how it goes. It feels like overkill for me as well. I'm right there with you, man. The kind of music is a bit annoying, but better than watching you at 4 a.m. or not. You mean the lack of music, Nixarin? Or I don't follow. Or you don't necessarily like the music I'm playing right now. Oh, the lack of music. Well, the way I see it, Nick Sarin, it's a YouTube. You can play your own music. I mean, that was kind of what I was doing with the stream some time ago. I was actually doing the stream without music, but because I didn't have an audio splitter, I couldn't have music for myself, which meant that it was very boring for me. This game really needs some sort of background sound for my brain. If I don't have that, then I'm not really enjoying myself. I mean, there's only so much I can really feel with my own voice. So, the compromise is we have music for stream and then no music for the VODs. That bypasses copyright issues for both. And in the VODs, I mean, again, you can always play your own music, So that's always an option. I'm glad you're enjoying the content, Nick Sarin. Pretty much everyone that's been talking about the VODs, they actually do watch the full-length VODs. I mean, they may skip through it, but they watch the full-length VODs. So that's good news to me. It takes quite a bit of time and effort to encode those things and put them up. So the fact that people are watching them and enjoying them, it makes me happy. I was kind of tempted to just do highlights out of the VODs, out of the past broadcasts, but it does seem that there's a pretty significant audience that wants to watch the full broadcast, which is awesome. I'm glad you guys want that. So I'll continue trying to update that, and also try to update in a faster fashion. I've really been slacking the past couple of weeks. We're pretty much caught up though with the VODs. It's only the past couple of days that have not been uploaded to YouTube. What is that, Nisho? Nice. All right. Scythe looks like it's going to make it just because the Praetors were slow. That's unfortunate. I was running my NVD the entire time. That kind of sucks. If I was a little bit better on the newts there, instead of newting out the Seeple, just holding him off until I newted the... Oh shit, hold on. This guy is trying to warp. Force him to jump. If I had held off... and just knew down the Scythe instead. I forgot that if I engaged the Seeple, it would give it a suspect timer to the Scythe. I completely forgot about that Crime Watch mechanic. So, a little bit of a reminder for me, which is nice. Nick Sarin, I agree and I don't agree. I mean, there's a lot of dead time to roams. There's a lot of dead time, dead content to a stream. I mean, I try to fill it as much as I can talking with you guys, and really what I'm getting at is what makes a stream interesting to me is the live aspect of watching it. When it's not live, I tend to really skip through my own past broadcasts and the past broadcasts of others, just looking for sweet, for good content, actual, PvP or what have you. So, I mean, teach their own. I mean, I'm not discounting your opinion, but that's how I view it. Hey, Omega. I like the basket cat. That'd be very useful. Yeah, that should have been a scythe kill there. Another kind of fun thing about that scythe is that the Praetors went into MVD mode, then they went into non-MVD mode, and they do just AB right back to gate. I'm really not sure about the lack of web on this thing. Oh, I hear you, Nick. I hear you. I mean, I've pretty much been doing US primetime broadcasts almost exclusively. But unfortunately, it's just the time zone I live in. It's really hard for me to break out of that. Start. What is your start fit? It is a 6-link command to start. Command link to start it. So this is what it looks like. It's all Tech 2, nothing really shiny on there. I probably could eke out a little bit more tank on this thing, but that is what it is. The Link alt runs with Ascendant set, so it moves around pretty quick. Needs a point for TikTok. One of these days, that'd be pretty funny if I made one of my Link alts a combat fit. A combat fit command ship would be pretty good bait to, say, grab one of his Machariels that he bumps into me. Unfortunately, I don't really think that far ahead when I stream. I don't tend to think with that in mind when I'm going to be heading out for a stream. Another interesting thing is that he's moved out of Amarr Minmatar space. He's now basing out of Thera, so that's not as much of a thing anymore. And you know what? I just realized that I'm not in fleet with Sard. Fun. Running Ganglinks and not actually getting a benefit from them. Best way to use Ganglinks ever. I was wondering about that. So now I should start aligning really quick. Oh yeah, look at that. 25% better align time. How about that? How about that? How about that? And I see a Hyperion on scan. Oh my goodness. Around the Camelligate, huh? It's moral support or morale support. Probably a little bit of both, right? Placebo effect? Yes. Pretty much. I mean, three Newts really does help deal with the Hyperion, but if he has an MJD fit, then I can't really hold him down. He just jumped in. Let's see what's on the other side, I guess. I'm really surprised he's not shooting at my drones. I find it very surprising. No, he burned hell far off the gate, Astro. I mean, I had links there. Did I really need them? No. So, there's that. Frankly, links did nothing for me there. Didn't affect any part of that fight. Is that what I think it is? I think I had a really expensive warp disruptor on that. I wonder what that fit was. Single cap booster, I'm assuming. No, that was dual injected. And that he's using 400s though. Oh, that poor deer. That poor guy. No wonder he's having cap problems. And I was probably turning this guy off as well. Oh man, that's rough. That's really rough. If he had 800s, he at the very least would have had the injecting power to get back to gate if he wanted to. He panicked. That was him panicking. That's too bad. Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. It's just rough when I see someone trying to just solo into BS and they just get stomped on. That's why it feels rough. Quite a few of those kind of blobber dudes are in system here. Probably won't get anything done. Probably get killed. But oh, there's the Ruppy. It's with those dudes. I think this Bastion group is with those guys as well. No recon in here. Something different. Wasn't expecting that. I was expecting there to be a recon just sitting here. Bastion is CFC? Okay. There's a Galente faction warfare corp/alliance that's I guess vacationing in Camella, and they're doing offensive plexing here. And they've been running pretty much 5 to 10 man gangs, lots of Logi, lots of recons. I've killed a little bit of them, they've killed a little bit of me. But it's pretty rough. I mean, they have a Falcon online right now, so. Pretty much everything that you see on scan right now, except for maybe the frigates, are going to be them at their POS that they have set up. Okay. What are these guys blabbing about? I mean, really? Imperium. Yes. Imperium! For the Emperor! What are the data sheets for? It's the science graduates. They're running an experiment. It's experimental Armageddon fit. That's what's going on. They're logging the results from the fitting and seeing whether or not it's going to be worthwhile to use in the future. Oh my gosh, that guy is 5,000% a smart bomber. That Proteus warped way too fast. Sarah, do you know if you self-destruct continue even after a gate jump? No, if you go through any session change, it will discontinue the self-destruct. So if you warp off or you dock up, whatever, your ship won't explode, as I understand. Yeah, there's some experimental apparatus that they can't afford yet, so they're just kind of like on their lab scale. They're not quite to pilot scale yet, but they're just trying to get funding. Gunvoid. That's where we're at. And we got Jeff the test him in here to test G-forces or something. I haven't quite figured it out yet. And we installed a nanofiber on here, so this Armageddon's gonna be booking it. So it's gonna be breaking the 1 cam per second threshold with links. So we have to put in something here to figure that out. He's testing the coffee. We're always testing the coffee. It's a question you always see every day of the week. Is the coffee any good this morning? Yeah, it's fine. New batch of coffee in. Is it any good? Yeah, it's fine. Just add milk and sugar. Would you like some coffee with that milk and cream? Or is that with that cream and sugar? Okay. Jump. La puppy! La puppy! La puppy! Yeah, astronautistic. If you like engage any action, like jumping, like that incurs like some sort of session change. Like if warping off will cancel it. I know warping off will canceling it. Jump through a gate will canceling it. Stalking up at the station will cancel it. You can still activate modules and fight, as I understand, but it'll explode after 2 minutes. Is it really synthetic coffee or is it fake? The description says it is coffee. So it's synthesized coffee. Evidently, actual coffee is hard to come by. Natural coffees come hard to come by in the world of New Eden. What do I run for rigs, Nick? I have 2 hyperspatials and 1 aux pump. Check Firebox. Okay. Oh, yeah, Cyprian. That shit happens. Were you hitting the guy's hole? When that happens, Cyprian? Sometimes that shit happens. I don't really get it, but you'll just get, like, wrecking hits that were, like, for, 10 to 100 times the normal damage. It's ridiculous. I've never had it happen to me that I know of. I've seen it happen to people that are in capital ships, that sort of thing, where they'll just suddenly die. And people will be like, what? And the frustrating thing is when that bug happens, they can petition and get their ship back, even though in the situation their ship was dead anyway. Which, that's what frustrates me to... Well, it just frustrates me considerably. That's an oldie, man. That's an oldie bug. Oldie but a goodie. Oh, that had something to do with self-destruct, you think? No, I mean, okay, so Nick Sarin, even if a bomber was to hit someone's structure and the guy didn't have a damage control on, it would just mean perfect damage. As long as the explosion radius and velocity matched up. So, what Nick Sarin is, or sorry, what Soprian's pointing out is a damage number of 33,000 damage from a bomber rage torpedo hit. That's a little bit higher than your normal volley amount into structure, like unresisted structure. Just a little bit. Order of magnitude difference. No big deal. Yeah, not even fitting polarized weapons would cause that. Well, there's Kildu. My microphone is all erect? What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about this guy? Man. So, I'm using a desktop microphone, which is why this one's up. And the entire reason for this guy was so I could do silly things like wear hats and not have to wear this thing, but I'm still listening to music and I haven't really figured out a audio solution that is kind of... Like, I have earbuds that I want to use, but the audio quality when I use them isn't all that great. Because I can't get it into my sound card jack. Although where I have my tower mode right now, I might be able to, but... Yeah. It is up for more 4 hours, you gotta take it to the doctor. I don't think the doctor knows much about how to work on headsets, but maybe. Maybe it's a hobby. Alright, RZ looks pretty bad. And, this little loop here always looks good for PvP, but it never is. It's always a lie. It's a dirty, dirty lie. It's a trap. It's a roaming trap. It's something to suck the life out of your, game time. Hey, Toddles. How's the run tonight? We killed the Hyperion. And we're moving on. Pretty quiet so far, but it's kind of be expected. It's a Sunday night. Links are not solo PvP? Fair enough. To a lot of people it is. Serial. A lot of people think solo PvP is one player, so if you're dual boxing, it's still solo PvP. But I'm in your camp. I think it's one character. If you have two characters, that's not solo PvP. But semantics, really. Just claim it's an antenna? Yeah. That sounds good. I mean, I am American. It's the hookup for the NSA to monitor me all day. Are we having this discussion again? I guess we are. I don't know. We don't have to. 10 for a sandwich. Go enjoy your sandwich. It's probably going to be a few minutes for me to find another fight anyway, Gunvoid. If you don't mind, I'd like a ham and cheese. Just make it an extra one for me, please. Please. Please, thanks. Love ya. Oh, man. So did any of you guys catch the EVE NT tournament earlier today, around 1900 EVE time, about 5 hours ago? It was Test Alliance versus Tuskers, a best of 5. Anyone see that? Yeah, I can show you the Hyperion kill. It needs help. It's a fitting that needs help. I was seeing Ex Machina. Oh, how was that film? I saw on Twitter that Baki watched it. He didn't say what his opinion was of it. I'm assuming it was good. Yeah, I was hoping for Testa to take at least one game off him. At least one, please. Ex Machina is excellent. Awesome. I need to see that, and I need to see the new Mad Max. Those are two films that I probably should go out and watch. It makes you think. I don't want to think. Maybe I should watch Mad Max first, then I'll be in the mood to think. Yeah. I think it could have... The frustrating thing is that I think it could have gone either way, but it still is a very convincing victory for the first two matches that I did see for that best of 5 series. It was the 3-0. There was a lot that could be done against those initial Tech 3 Destroyer comps. I think the Tech 3 Destroyers, I mean, when you have Logi, you have Tech 3 Destroyers as the primary DPS, and then your tools in your toolkit include a Maul, so you damp down the Logi and you kill the rushing in T3s that are trying to screen. That was my opinion of it. Maybe in testing that doesn't work so well, but I figured that would be the right way to go about solving that issue. Okay, so we have some Exodus in here. Kind of curious what you guys thought about it, though. I see an Oracle, Scythe Fleet, Garmer. I just scanned that. They're all over on that Kate. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really want to be going toe-to-toe with Extus. Or, I mean, I'll stand up pretty well to an Oracle in our Armageddon. Speaking of, let's just load EM in case they do end up going after me. Uninverted, from what I saw, it looked like Test took comps that are a little bit dated and are better designed for larger numbers of players. I mean, the dual Sleipnir comp, it's very solid. Don't get me wrong, it's very solid. The Rush comp, the Minotaur Rush comp's a very well-founded, cemented into the tournament metagame composition. I think with more practice, they could have done better with it. C2 Pummy Burst? What is this? Those guys over at the Oscar Gate? Yeah, that's the only thing that I didn't have on scan. What didn't I have on scan? Where's this stuff scanning from? I didn't see this before. Is this medium? No. These stations? I guess. It's a lot of stuff. Interesting. Coop, there probably is. Let me see if I can grab the Twitch thing of it. And they probably have it in their past broadcasts. Let me see. Following Event past broadcasts. They do. There you go. You can check it out there. Yeah, if you enjoy tournament stuff, I mean, go watch it. Sabotage, okay. It looks like Exodus is starting to trickle in. Garmer's not following, though. Nick Sarin, you don't need a client for it. You don't need tournament tools to run a tournament. It can make things a lot easier. Honestly, most of running a tournament and making it look really snappy and cool on, say, a Twitch broadcast has a lot more to do with outside of EVE tools more than inside of EVE tools. The inside of EVE tools really come down to getting a ship that can lock all the tournament ships, things like that. That's where it really comes down to. CCP has talked about over in Infest that they are more than willing to help player run tournaments with these tools. I mean, they will, allow players to use them. So you just need to get in contact with CCP. I understand that Logibro was assisting with the NT tournament with their setup somehow. So I'm sure they're acting on that offer, which is awesome. But I think if you watch the last RVB internal tournament that Tyrion Biohazard helped run, he essentially ran all the technical side of it. It's entirely possible, and what he did was fucking amazing. It had a lot more to do with what he did outside the game than anything else. I think the commentary is highly limited. He's tackled, I think... Oh, wait, never mind. How do you mean, Nixarn? How do you mean? Are you talking about for the NT tournament, or for what? What's limited? Where is it limited? Maybe I should have went for a fight with Exodus. I know they're like the best chance for me getting some PvP. I honestly do fear them. Doesn't tend to go well when I try to go toe-to-toe with myself and a Link alt versus Exodus. They tend to have a lot better numbers. Although I did not see a Link alt from them, and I did not see like a disordinate number of Vexor Navy issues or anything that would slam into my tank. Single Oracle Navy issue in a Scythe fleet is not a lot to write home about, especially if I'm able to get a couple of nude volleys off onto the Oracle, then run him down. What was the difference aside from damage type and speed between different types of drones? So the faster moving drones have better application, they have better tracking. The slower moving drones have more hit points. Now, between all of those drones, like Caldari, Amar, Minmatar, and Galente, they have different ranges as well, which slightly affects their how they work. And with those ranges, they also have different orbit distances associated with them. But pretty much the major difference between drones is that as you go into higher damage output, it's lower application. They're also slower. The faster the drone, the better it's going to actually apply onto fast-moving targets. Primarily, I don't really think so much about that. I think of drones in terms of damage type. I don't really think of them in terms of higher damage, lower damage, that sort of thing. It's not always the best way to go about it, but I find it to be the most conservative and reliable. Because it's so often that I run into targets that are in Tech 2 tanks, where if I have ogres, while they may be the highest damage output drones, against a lot of Tech 2 tanks, they're very lacking. Some drones are too fast compared to their tracking, for instance. That's not really the case on Inverted. That's not really the case at all, as long as they're shooting targets that they're designed to hit. But you do see that, actually quite often with all drones, where they're too fast for their own tracking. That does happen, but it's usually when they're hitting really small targets. Like if you're using a Gecko, and you're in a frigate, it's actually kind of interesting. If you're in a frigate, you actually see fairly significant damage mitigation if you sit still against heavy drones and against geckos. Like a heavy drone will actually outspeed its own tracking against a stationary target, whereas if the frigate's moving, then the heavy drones will trail behind it and it'll have minimal transversal. And then the heavy drones will apply very well. It's kind of weird to see. What are my favorite drones to use? I like the Minmatar, the explosive drones, and the Amar drones, the EM drones, because of the damage types. With those two types of damage types, I can deal with just about any type of tank, which is very important to me. But for some drone ships, they don't have the drone bays to do that, to field that. So unfortunately, it's me choosing one thing or another and not necessarily being able to deal with all things at once. What do I primary here? Shit. The Vexor, I guess? Then go for the Rupture? Nude out the Ferox? Guess I'll nude out the Ferox. course they're gonna run. And they're jumping out immediately. Ah, poor Rupture. Poor Rupture. He doesn't have good friends. Guess I should have pointed the Ferox first, huh? Get the juiciest target. Yeah, like, probably wouldn't have been the smartest thing to do. Didn't really think in terms of holding them down, I was just thinking in terms of killing off the weaker targets and then going after that. Weaker targets that do more damage output. Really have that little room? That's too bad. Yeah, Rambo, I saw them. I just passed by them. Do you know if they have... Okay, I saw the Oracle. And I saw a Scythe Fleet issue, and I saw a little bit of Tackle. Do they have like a whole bunch of V9s, that sort of thing? Or is that really... the Oracle really their big damage ship? I might actually be able to deal with that, if that's really just their big damage ship. I'm guessing, given Exodus, they have another 2 to 3 damage ships, though. Which is why I just moved right past them. Oh, wow. No kidding. They typically, if you're going to see an Oracle, if it's going to be an Oracle that's actually worth a damn, it's going to either be a like a small gun bait Oracle, or it's going to be a Mega Pulse shield tanked Oracle has like 3 heat sinked, a couple nanos, and maybe a warp speed rig on it with a couple of locusts. They hit out really far. They put out really good battleship level damage. They apply incredibly well. They're very good ships to have in a fleet. They're just fairly fragile if you're going up against a bunch of Ishtars or something that can apply out at range. Another thing, Rambo, is I didn't see a link alt with them, which is kind of weird to me. I didn't see their typical link alt anyway. Maybe they have someone else doing it due to SP loss. Armor Oracle is a terrible concept in General Zeteran. I hate it. I don't understand why people do that. You're paying, after insurance, almost as much as a battleship. Just fly a fucking battleship. And actually have some EHP to your ship. It makes no sense to fly an Armor Oracle unless you're doing like frigate baiting with small guns. That's the only time I'd ever really think about doing that. You lose SP if you if Tech 3 cruiser dies, Zeteran. That's what I'm talking about. You still lose SP for Tech 3 cruiser losses. Oh, is it still the same Loki, Rambo? The Summit or whatever person? Okay. That person's lost like 3 link alts in the past month. Just keeping it, training up those Loki skills, eh? Hey, Squeebs. Hello, Squeebles gang. How's it going, guys? How went the null roam, or are you guys still doing it? They may have been popular war as hell, but I think those are really awful fleet concept. I don't understand why people would do that. Well, people would run that. They're only slightly more mobile than a battleship with 1600. Well, they're a fair bit more mobile, but God, if you're gonna put that much money out into oracles, just fly fucking Apox or something that will deal with drakes incredibly well. Probably was asleep or resetting. Gotcha. Well, Mini-Mar is pretty quiet. Exodus has a really small gang running around. I haven't really bumped into anything else over here, though. Although, looks like Dead Terrorists are awake. Sentry Tristans? No, I'm not interested. Not in Sentry Tristans. Something wrong with that boy. Something wrong with him. Sacrilege. This late into the day is kind of... Well, it's not too late in the day. I mean, about 40 people... Wait, I don't really have standing with... Oh, this isn't... Is this PL, or... What? Is this actually Dead Terrorists, or... I'm really confused. Oh, you know what? Maybe that guy's camping that gate again. The projection is tolerable. Squeebs, this is how I get aneurysms. Don't do this to me. Please. I'm not begging. It's a request. Please. For my health. The sake of my health. I did give you an order to kill those guys the other day. Oh, bless your heart, Binder. It looks like you more or less sold them all with a friend. You sold them with a friend. Okay, I'll take it. Good man, Binder. Good man. I told him I'd do it, too. I'm gonna sick some of our Factor in you guys. You're not giving me a fight. This is gonna happen. They should have listened. They should have listened! That's awesome though, Rainbow. Congrats on the fight. Bunch of combats, but no one camping. Boo! Boo! Plus a couple dudes. Is that from Sysaid? No? Okay. NPC aggro? All me and a confessor? All me! It was all me! Yeah, okay, guy, whatever. Guilty until proven innocent in my eyes. I bet the NPC did 90% of the damage. Confessor got nerfed, dude. It's impossible. Is that the same binder that wrecked our fleet yesterday? Maybe. Rambo's binder in game, by the way. That's why I'm saying binder occasionally. Kind of use his in-game and out-of-game name interchangeably. Just to further confuse myself and others. There are many binders, but this one is ours. I don't know why I'm calling him your binder either. Is it Beanator? Rambo, how do I pronounce your name? I never actually asked you, and you never really corrected me. Beanator. Got it. Got it. Just only fuck it up for, like, about a couple more days, and we'll be good. I know the feeling, Rambo. I know the feeling. I don't really care. Call me what you will, as long as it's it's me. Sweeper! Sweeper! The name sounded good as it made the count. Okay. What chip am I using for links? I'm using an Astarte. It has 6 game links running on it. That seems a little bit more active than before. At least one guy just jumped out. Yeah, Squeebs. I'm trying out a trip nuke fitting today. I don't know. I haven't really been put to the test yet. I did end up nuding out a very newbie trip rep Hyperion that had 400 cap boosters instead of 800s. I haven't really tested the fit yet, but I think I like it. I think I prefer it over the 5 rapid heavy missile launchers. Also, the nanofiber that I had to swap down to from the 1600 plate, I appreciate it when I'm roaming around. And another thing that's kind of interesting about this Geddon is that I kite with it. Oh man, it's gonna be so close. I don't think I'm gonna make it though. Oh, I think I'm gonna make it, okay. Yeah. The really big thing there is that I need to either deal with the ONI or the Oracle, and I wasn't able to deal with them. I volleyed the ONI's cap, but I'm pretty sure it's running a cap booster, so I need to get staggered newts onto one or the other. Ideally, I would have had the Oracle neuted out fully, and then I just kill it, and then they would have nothing left. But given that the Oracle was doing a job of pressing the keep it range 60 km button, not really a lot to do there. Fortunately for me, really fortunately for me, the hyena didn't really decide to tag me fast enough. If he did, I would have been dead. I would have been caught off gate and they would have webbed me down. I was really confused though when I saw the target paint. I was assuming the target painter was from the hyena, but it wasn't. It was from a Caracal. It took me a little while to realize that. Really, I wanted to comment on what I was doing, but things were happening so fast, I really just wanted to focus. Alright, Prog, have a good one, man. Well, that's definitely a fight where web doesn't really help me at all, so I kind of feel good about that fight. As far as not having web, I'm constantly bothered by the lack of web in this ship. I'm trying to get over having web versus not having web. I was really hoping that Wassa would not think about the MJD and just keep burning a little bit. But his weapon system's ideally suited for 60 km, so him burning past 60 km is very doubtful, which is what I'd need to get my newt cycles on. These things have a kind of short range, well, not really short, but they don't quite go out to 40 km. But just to save a little bit of money, we're going to rep up our armor with the Ansel without paste, and then we're going to rep our structure at a station, and we'll move on. Wassa's a really good pilot, yeah. I mean, all the Exodus guys are pretty good pilots. Yeah, but it's really weird how I fly this thing. I don't fly it like a brawler, even though it's slow. It's so slow. I don't fly it like a brawler. I fly it like a kiter, because with the range bonus and the typical weapon systems you're going to be using on it, well, I like to use lasers on Armageddon, and then the other part of that is rapid heavies. They're range weapons. So you end up playing the range game, even though you're not really a nimble ship. Next picture, you're at station. You had a double check look down to see if you had modules fit right. Yeah, it was pretty close. I got some really big hits on me towards the end there. I didn't think I was going to make it, then the damage dropped off, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm okay. Yeah, towards the end there it looks... oh, these are in terms of seconds, yeah. God, Oracle hits. Fuck off, Oracle. Those damn Mega Pulses. Ashimu, I really dislike the Ashimu sweeps. I tried to run it in the beam fit. I didn't really like it. It didn't apply well at all. If you're doing it for like an armor kitey comp, like, I don't know, with railgun Deimoses or Thoraxes, something like that. It could have some validity to it. You just instead of having a point, you have double web, and then you can be the webs for a gang, and that could work out. I think that, like, if anything, the Ashmu could work for that. But for, like, solo, as I'm doing, no. I really dislike it. Doesn't apply well enough. Also, the Ashmu doesn't have a newt range bonus. It has web bonus. It doesn't have a newt range bonus. It has a newt amount bonus. Oh, I don't think I actually had Exile for that fight. That kind of sucks. Same penalty. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the Ashmu is pretty good for cruiser gangs, armor cruiser gangs, where you have some guardians and you're looking to nude out Logi. It's pretty cool for that. I mean, it's not the best, but it's pretty cool for that. It's a lot cheaper alternative to a Legion. But as far as newts and kiting, Sentinel, Curse, Pilgrim is really all that I can think of sub-battleship, and then the other Geddon. Hey, Delta Zang, how's it going, man? Another thing I'm kind of curious about with that fight, I didn't see links. I don't know if Exodus actually had links in that engagement. They may have not had links for that engagement. I wasn't paying too much attention onto speeds, I was more paying attention onto range and trying to get newt cycles onto people. Reload pace, good idea, thank you. Thanks, G-Man. Nobody seemed to go in link speed? Okay. Oh, interesting. Exodus without links is not common. I have no idea why myself, Tress. I was kind of saying that tongue-in-cheek a little bit earlier when I didn't see their link alt, but it could legitimately be a thing. Or maybe they're just trying to fly without links and learn how to do that again. I don't fucking know. But if they're roaming in TQ, I believe that they're going to be roaming with links. I don't think they would ever have a reason not to do that. What's your deal? Oh, there's the Dramiel. So a lot of the frigates have pieced out that I had on scan. Like, guy's watching me though. Maybe he'll follow. Who knows? Nope. Jumped. So if the worm is doing that, then it doesn't seem like he's just farming, I guess. Farming worm. Guess we can try to chase down that frigate gang I saw earlier. I'm not really in a good fitting to deal with. In fact, I shouldn't deal with that. I shouldn't go for that frigate gang. Even though I have heavy newts that are gonna volley a burst cap, it's not a reliable way to keep reps off a primary chip unless I'm going for a burst, and a 10-man frigate gang is going to either, 1, kill my drones, very likely, 2, kill me fairly quickly. Let's not go for that gang. I want to just because I know it's a fight, but and then again, who are all these guys? Woodman. Who's Woodman? Yeah, people are complaining about drones. Oh no, they're saying, "Yay, thank you, drones." Okay, gotcha. Evidently, they forced someone out of a Plex or something, maybe. That's a lot of Tristans. How exciting! Wish I had a smart bomb right now. If I can buy one off market. Let's hope they continue smack talking and they're on the outside of the outpost. Probably not going to end well. The ship's not designed to deal with a bunch of frigates. Oh, they're on the outside. Sweet. He's warping. They're all warping. Tristan's burning at me. That's something. MBD on. Now he's burning away. Damn. I was hoping I'd get a pre-lock on him, but he's not going to allow me to do that. Okay, where's this other Frigate King? I'm assuming those guys are in a Plex and doing the LP farm. No? Or they just at the last small? Where are these guys? Star? No kidding. Okay. Well, now that I know they're not all together, I can do Fortress, so that's fine. It was, though, psychotic, wasn't it? Zap! What happened? That's exactly what happened. Oh, why do they have to be into the light? Oh, they're burning into me now? Sweet. Are they? No, they're warping. They're all warping. Would have been an amazing fight anyway, but that kind of sucks. Call me silly? Don't you call me silly! Doing work here. Into the light. I think everyone does in this game, to be fair, Rambo. There needs to be some sort of, like, grid that comes up to occlude sunlight. Filter it out. Make it less intense. That'd be good. You know, it'd be really funny. Guys, you know, it'd be really funny. So I could bump this guy at the gate. Base jumping. Never mind. Wait, who's in the VNI? Looking for that fight, man. Just looking for that fight, man. Man. Well, now that I have some you hurt guys nearby, I think that we may be able to do stuff to Exodus. At the very least, a stabber or what have you would be able to do some suicide tackle onto an oracle, what have you. What have you. It'd work out quite well. Trade quite effectively. It's assuming they're still in the area. I see an ONI. Where's the ONI? I didn't see the ONI before. Where'd the ONI be? Vengeance at a large, maybe? Well, let's go to that large, see what's going on over there, I guess. Hey, Bio! Good to see you, man. How you doing? Bio, I don't mean to intrude. Actually, this is a question for Squeebles as well. Who are the guys that admin the forum? I know Bio does, but who else does it? Given that Bio's been really busy. So I'd like to get the tournament stuff moved over to the tournament section instead of the corp only section. Hey, guy. How's it going? You gonna stick around? Maybe. Oh. Oh. I'll help ya. Poor Hurricane. Live to fight another day, brave Hurricane. You're confusing the two tournaments. I think they're doing more isn't AT. Isn't it though, Squeebles? I mean, if we're practicing, it's practice. So shouldn't everyone in the alliance have access to the people to the threads that we have where we're discussing the practice, or are we just going to exclude them from that? That's my take on it. So if we have people in the lines coming in, then and they're participating, then they should have a say in the after action as well. That's my take. Don't use your sexy voice in the vengeance. Mating call. I mean, if I got basic admin stuff, I'd be happy to move things around myself. I just don't know who the hell has that access. I've already gone this direction, and none of my forays over to Evadi area has ever been fruitful recently. Let's talk about on the forums, Bio. They don't give me admin rights for a reason. Yeah. I'm pretty good about forums. I don't abuse my rights on forums. It's TeamSpeak where I abuse, but I don't see how I could be any worse than CO4 for TeamSpeak abuse. Shots fired. There's no shots. That's not a verbal jab. That's a statement of fact. Hey Mook, how's it going, dude? I wonder how Dead Terrorists are looking at. They had like 35 people on. Let's see. It's been about an hour since I last looked in Stacade. What's the local can out now? Missiles launched. Missile launch detected. Still at 30. Still at 30 health. Exact same count as I saw before. Go figure. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, it's looking pretty dull. Except for this gang over near the wherever. That all undocked? I think that all undocked just now. Like, right now. And that was, I think I saw 2 augurs, so... Logi... Blah... They head my way, maybe? Just watch that T-scan while I try to swap ammo type to an armor tanking ammo type thing majig. Anything good so far? We had a 1v1 with a Hyperion that was not very well fit or flown. Nothing else really exciting or special going on, no. Kind of a quiet Sunday night. I need D-scan skills. Catch up there, it's pretty easy these days. A lot of the hard part about D-scanning has been kind of removed with the addition of the tracking camera. So if I want to scan at the gel gate, I turn it on, and I'm aligned to the gel gate, and I can do a 5 degree. Or if I want to go over to the station, I turn it on, and I'm aligned over to the station. That's pretty much really the hardest part about D-scanning, was narrowing down scan results. Mort Noir, yes, this is virtually the same thing as Suetonia's setup, except I think I have a third heavy newt, and I don't. Instead of a web, I have an MJD. A little bit of more offensive defensive power out of the MJD allows me to get past some camps. Means I'm going to have a much harder time dealing with smaller ships and applying. Got dropped by Black Ops, yeah. Well, that'll happen. Yeah, Blop's range is about the same as it was before Phoebe nerfs, so it's still a very viable, effective way to blob someone. Should have let him down alone. Pretty much, yeah. But it does really suck if you're doing like a 2-man gang or like a really small gang and you lose a member of your fleet and you're a lot like way less combat effective for it. It's like, yeah, let me just die with you so I can at least reship with you and we can do something else. That's especially true if you've been doing a long roam and you're far away from home. Hey, Nighthawk. Well, so far, I think the testing has been relatively successful. I think our science team aboard our experimental Armageddon Kitey issue still needs to run more tests, but so far, results are positive. Nighthawk, I'm in a Geddon. I don't have Blop skills. You're probably never going to see me in a Blop ship. Ever. That style PvP is not very interesting to me. Have I tried the Nano Rep Navy Mega? No, Malachi. It's too expensive for me. I haven't really been flying any faction BS or Navy or Pirate. I just don't have the money for it right now. I've been flying mostly T1 BS. Yeah, Miker's flown it in the past. It's the Megathron and it has a heavy newt. It's a bit slower than a Mega, I believe, but it has a heavy newt, which is a huge difference. So this kiting BS stuff, will it lead to Mac attack? Maybe. I don't really like the Picarial for solo. It's a decent solo ship. It's expensive. It's very often when I'm flying right around a BS that I'm going to get caught by a gang and killed in a kind of a bad way, but I think it has more to do with comfort than anything else, and I just really can't afford those kinds of losses right now. If I was sitting on like a whole huge wad of money, I might be more willing to toss around ships like that, but I just don't have the ISK, and I don't feel like grinding and things. And I'm quite happy running around in different T1 BS. I'm quite happy. In fact, I'm really happy this Armageddon's working out. It means it's another T1 BS with a different race that I can fly with. It feels like Galente, to be honest, which I don't like. But it's different. It's a different ship that I'm flying around, which is cool. I'm sick and tired of Galente BS. I'm flying Galente BS loads lately. A white hurricane from that angle? Which angle was that? I don't know. I don't know what angle you're... I don't know what angle it was! I want to see it too! Yeah, it feels like a Dominix, is what it feels like, Sire. And I don't like that. I wish it wasn't a Dominix. But... It's like a nudie Dominix. I too miss the days of Minmatar Online. Because it wasn't just Minmatar ships that were good. What about the Foon? I'm not a huge fan of the Foon. I think I do want to take her out like a small battleship gang at some point and run around with Torp Foons with Targa Painters, and then maybe have a Geddon for dealing with Logi and maybe a Scorpion to kind of help with that as well, and then do RR BS stuff with like 2x warp rigs on all the ships. With I was looking at it with 3 paints, 3 webs, and an unbonused info link that affects the paint effectiveness. You do really good damage to Executors, even if they're A-being. Like you will destroy Executors with links, which I think can be really cool. It seems incredibly legit. it'd just be a matter of running around in a time zone where you'd get fights and not going to get like dropped by a whole bunch of people. I've done the solo golem before. It's not as good as you'd think. The moment you have two T1 logistics ships on field, then you're hosed. But I wasn't doing the micro thing of running around in Marauder with a prop mod, so it probably would have been a lot better if I was doing that. I think Marauders, when you're just doing straight gank and tank, are very limited, and there's a reason why they're not that common in PvP. But if you actually run around with a Marauder and have like an MGD and MJD on it, oh my god, the mobility. It's actually really good. It's really solid, but they're very expensive to toss around. They tank well, but they only tank well if they're not moving, which is, let's just say, a little bit difficult to... It's a razor margin that you run on. Just recently did a solo duo peer let out his newest video and used a golem in the first fight, just eating the enemies. I mean, if you get the right fight for it, yeah. I mean, any battleship can be really good. Like if you go up against a bunch of cruisers and BCs that you're going to play well against, and they don't have E-War or logistics, most importantly logistics, then yeah, you'll eat up dudes, absolutely. But you don't tend to find that. Now, Caldari love for battleships? I love Caldari battleships, Lion Cake. The Raven's like one of my favorite battleships. It's right there with the Tempest. I love the Raven. I think it's a really cool ship. It just they have a hard time dealing with smaller targets if you don't have support. Like, you need tackle support, you need paints to deal good damage. But oh my gosh, when you do apply, ooh, it's like a freight train, man. You only have Caldari BS to 5? Well, Caldari BS aren't bad. They're just not all that popular right now. Scorpions are pretty good for like micro gang, like 5 to 10 man gang stuff, as long as you position them well. But they're pretty slow, so you pretty much have to fly them around with warp rigs, which they can do. They can accommodate that. It's fine. The Roke is not a popular ship whatsoever. They used to be really popular for BS sniping, but BS sniping's just fallen out of the meta. So they're not all that good anymore because of that. They don't really have a place in the meta game. And the Raven, it's a very solid ship. But again, even though it's a fairly fast ship, it can get a pretty good tank on it. It has a utility high, it can nuke people, it can smart bomb, what have you. The big problem that it has is that it's using battleship-sized missiles, which have a very hard time applying to small targets. Like, your only real choice for applying down to small targets is the Rapid Heavy Missile Launcher system, which is not a good weapon system. Slayer, okay, so it kind of depends. For the battleship itself, I think cruise missiles are a more versatile weapon system. I think they're a better weapon system. I would say, though, Torps, even though you're probably not going to want to use them so much on the Raven, they're a better weapon system to go for because it means you can also get into bombers. And bombers are a lot of fun for a lot of people. Most people, when they look at PvP, and they're looking at flying bombers at some point or another. And a lot of people really enjoy flying bombers. So I'd say training up your torpedo skills is win-win. Again, the flip side to that, though, is if you're going to be, say, using that Raven for doing PvE, or maybe like a Navy Raven or a faction variant, cruises are better for PvE. Oh, it's very true. I wasn't even thinking about that. Barquise is actually a really good ship. and it does very well. In fact, it does very well with rapid heavies, with the damage bonus it has on it. It also has a range bonus for rapid heavies, which is huge. It will hit out very far with rapid heavies. It's the only ship in the game that has a bonus for rapid heavy missile launcher range. So it actually will hit out to 90 km with rapid heavy missiles, and they go very fast due to the Mortis range bonus. It works really well with the Barheist. But most importantly for the Barheist, it has a damage bonus for the missiles, which means you get more damage out of a load of missiles. So instead of like a Raven or a Typhoon that have a rate of fire bonus for their missile launchers, which just means you run through your rapid heavies faster, then you go onto that 35-second reload. Ships like the Barheist or the Typhoon Fleet Issue, which have damage bonuses, just get more damage out of that load of missiles. So it's a much more effective bonus for rapid missile systems. And the Orthrus is really good with, they just synergize very well with Lynx. What's the condition of jams right now? Coming up in Alliance Tournament 13, I'm wondering if we'll see any new metas, or if it's going to be all drones again. It's it really depends, Hellbound Man. It really depends. So, we saw in the Worlds Collide Tournament that CCP forced drone setups to use T1 drones. If that happens again for the AT, then you're going to see a lot more innovation. If that does not happen for the AT, then you're not going to see that much more innovation unless they straight out ban or do some point shenanigans with drone setups. Drones on TQ and the tournament meta are stupidly powerful. So, unless they do something like force T1 drones or increase the price of all drone chips by a couple points or something like that, you're not going to see that much innovation with regards to drone setups. And as far as ECM is just as good and as annoying as it's ever been. So you might see that in the Alliance Tournament, but right now damps are really, really popular, really strong. Damp ships pretty much are more effective overall than ECM ships. Damp comps typically are going to win against ECM comps, so you're probably not going to see that many ECM comps. Well, Lion Cake about bombers is that not only do a lot of people run around and do that kind of stuff, but there are a lot of MPSI groups that run around with do bombers, Bombers Bar, Spectre Fleet. They're running gangs all the time, doing Blop stuff, Black Ops stuff. So it's cheap, it's fun. You get to do big damage to things. You got the bomb, you got the AoE potential, like the stupid fun kind of potential out of bombers. They're just great ships for new players to really feel that they have impact on a fight. And if they're coordinated very well, bombers are just devastating. So, yeah, I would say training up torpedoes and then training up that bomb is a pretty good bet just for bombers. And then you can also fit those to the Raven, and maybe you'll find a circumstance where the Raven would be useful for brawling. And yeah, brawling Raven with torpedoes, if you have weapon fires and paints on targets, oh man, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, and because damps haven't seen any nerfs Hellbound, so damps are going to be just as powerful in this upcoming tournament, unless again they do something weird with the rules where they increase the point cost on E-War, they increase the point cost on damp ships. Yeah, Slayer. I'd say Torp 5 is a good bet. And then after that, depending on what you want to do with your Raven, cruise missiles would be probably the best way to go for an all-round Raven fit. It does pretty good damage up close, and then you can also hit out to, say, 160 km. So it's a very versatile weapon system. It actually applies fairly well down to cruisers. Yeah, well, everyone's waiting to see what the points are going to be, Hellbound. We've been waiting. We're not sure when they're going to come out, but for fuck's sake, we're assuming it's going to be soon. I'd imagine the points are going to come out, let's see, what's the date? Probably in a week. Dinko, no, the stream's been going on for about almost 2 hours. We just finished roaming around Minium R. I'm just kind of taking a break right now and collecting myself. Yeah. I mean, missile supports. I mean, if I remember correctly, there's actually just as many missile supports there are for projectiles and stuff, and it's the same. Oh, not projectiles, but turrets. And it's the same kind of thing with turrets. There's some supports that you don't really need. The range support skills for missiles are really key. You want to have all the range you can get, and then buffing your damage and stuff is good. What do you think about the Kalari Tactical Destroyer? I haven't really looked at it. People have been saying that's amazing and ridiculous and broken and blah 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 blah. I don't know. I don't really care for them. I don't really care for destroyers, for the tactical destroyers. So I'm gonna probably eat a whole bunch of losses from them again, and we're probably gonna see them swarming through low sec and null sec and everywhere again. So, hopefully people will fly them with rockets enough for me to actually get newts onto them and kill them once in a while. It's been one of the nice things about the Confessor and the Sequel is that when they brawl, they get really close. Whereas, I'm guessing the Jackdaw doesn't have that issue. Well, let's look at the Calgal space. Maybe it's actually looking decent. I don't know. Let's check that out really quickly. They have Soul Takers. No, it's not. Actually, that's not Soul Takers. Although it's right next to Old Man. It might be Soul Takers and Hadalese. I know the Russians have been active, but we're very much into Russian sleepy time. Oh, you know what? I'm probably gonna head over there just because Hadalese actually looks fairly active. It might be good. See if we can lose the Geddon. How much longer I'll keep going though, but we'll do that. Hey Finn. No, I'm not quite done streaming. Still was thinking about it, but we'll see how much longer I go. Oh, you know what? Shoot. Before I leave, I forgot to do this. Let me swap out for the Tech 2 damage control. Let's do that really quickly. Oh, yeah. Finn, happy birthday, man. I saw you streaming last night and you're talking about your birthday. I just figured yesterday was your birthday, but yeah, happy birthday, dude. Sorry to hear about your police issues with the power outage and stuff. It's really frustrating to lose ships that way. I'd say try to petition it, just cause. Maybe you get it back, or maybe you get some of it back, but, you know, frustrating. Alright, take this guy off. Oh, thanks for the host, Altman. Here's another question. So what are the plans changes to NB Afterburner potential nerf to missiles? I don't know if there's any potential nerf to missiles. I doubt there is. I've never heard of that. The changes to props is that meta faction and Dead Space props will now give you a slight speed buff for Macwarps. There's also going to be more change to penalties, cap use, that sort of thing. So there's going to be like a meta variant for Macwarps that is better for cap use. There's one that's better for fitting, and then there's one that's better for speed, stuff like that. The Tech 2 Microwarp will have a little bit more reason to use it. But primarily, it's primarily the I think the cap use is a big thing for him now, and then he gets very slight increase in speed for expensive prop mods. It's very, very, very slight though. I mean, if you see anyone saying that it's going to break the game even more with fast ships going even faster, it's so slight. It's not really that much to write home about. Although that said, making fast ships even faster doesn't really help the current metagame's condition of Garmers and Orthruses and all that jazz, just doing stupid speed and synergizing very well with Lynx. Will it hurt missiles more so than other weapons? No, not really. I mean, the most viable and popular missile system right now is rapid light missile launchers, and it's not really going to affect those at all. Nope. No, they'll be as popular tomorrow as they are today. Oh, sorry to hear that, Slayer. Yeah, getting jammed out is pretty frustrating. I've been getting that a lot with ECM drones. Like, I'll get a good tackle onto someone that's in a kitey ship, and then their gang will land. Then between 1 to 2 flights of ECM drones, I'll get jammed, and that person I got tackle on will warp away, and then I die. It's been happening when I've been fighting the periphery guys over in Golden God. Like the last couple of times I've caught like a kitey, like some expensive kitey thing, and then it gets away. Incredibly frustrating. Super frustrating. It's the sort of thing that you just need to step away from the game, usually. Hellbound, they're good. They're good. You just need a lot of help to make them apply to the really popular ships, like destroyers and frigates. They're never really going to apply all that well to destroyers and frigates, but rapid heavies will. But they need help. Like, you need webs, you need paints. If you don't have that support to provide that, then you're going to have a bad time. And it is a bit frustrating when you're using missiles that you have to think of, why the fuck do I have to use paints while turrets don't? I find that more or less infuriating, but missiles are kind of an interesting weapon system. They have a lot of perks to them that turrets do not. So the fact that they more or less rely on our target painters to work effectively isn't a huge concern to me. So, like, when I've seen missile comps with, like, Calamitous Intent, like my old corporation, they ran around with a Ham Caracal composition with some Ospreys, and they had a whole bunch of target painters in the gang, just unbonus target painters. And they ripped apart other T1 cruiser gangs. They ripped apart T2 cruiser gangs, because their damage applied perfectly. And it's right into the hole of whatever they're shooting at. The missiles are really good. You just need to work with them. The problem with missiles is that they don't scale well. So if you go into block level nullsec fights, you plop down a couple of smart bombing ships, then all your DPS is gone. So it only really works on like medium-sized gangs and below when the opponents don't expect it and they don't, say, use a firewall ship. Paints do help turrets fly, yes. Yes, they do. But missiles in general need more help. Just like battleship and cruiser and battleship sized missile systems need more help. The only exception to that is rapid lights. It's really the travel time of missiles that hurts so much? Well, yes and no. It does hurt a lot. I'm not gonna dispute that. I mean, I remember like glory days of flying against some like kind of nullsec blocks with Drake fleets and with a couple of oracles. And when you get primed, you just wait for the missiles to get about halfway there, then you warp off. Those missiles are dead. You come back in. In the meantime, you're just pounding drakes, and they can't do anything about it. Pretty cool stuff. Captain Craft, no, I don't. I don't enjoy that style of PvP. Because when you're flying stealth bombers, you're normally ganking people. And that's all you're really ever usually doing, and I don't enjoy that at all. It's not my style of PvP. It's not what I like to do. I like to take and deal damage. I like to brawl. Also like finesse stuff with kiting. I enjoy that. That works for me. But I do like to get into range to actually point something. Aviator, yeah. We have all but the last couple of days onto YouTube, and it's all in past broadcasts in the correct order and all that sort of stuff. I finally did it, yeah. So we have all of April and most of May on YouTube. You can check that out on the YouTube page. And speaking of which, again, guys, if you want to see updates about the stream, the best place to follow me is on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, I understand. It's another social media site that you need that I'm asking you to join. But Twitter is where I put out pretty much all my stream updates. If I'm going to be changing my stream schedule, if I'm going to be streaming early, whatever, Twitter is like the best place to go. Oh, there's days worth of content, Tinkle. Yeah, there's days worth of content on there for sure. Tracking computers for missiles? God, it's interesting and all to talk about that. It's interesting to talk about that, talk about tracking disruptors affecting missiles. They're not designed for that. They're not balanced for that. It's the same shit that we have with drones. You add that into the game, and you just open Pandora's box. Because there's no balance at all. There's no testing that's been put into missiles with those kind of modules introduced to the game at all. You'd have the same kind of shit happening as what we've seen with drones. What happened with drones? You add in drone damage mods. You add in a bunch of rebalancing to add huge bonuses that have never been in the game before in the form of drone application and drone range and drone movement speed. And suddenly you have drone ships at the apex predators for this game. You do that with missiles, you're probably going to see something very similar happen. Would it be quite as bad as drones? Probably not, but that's the sort of shit that will happen when you start looking at adding modules like that. Should that mean that CCP should be worried about doing that, or afraid to do that, or shouldn't do that? No, but it bothers me when people say that, because I think missiles more or less are a pretty well-designed system. Some types of missiles need help, but I don't think we really need to have those types of modules in the game. And I think missile systems, if you start having to look at taking up mid slots or taking up low slots to apply as you should, they're not designed for that either. So you'd have to really look at redesigning ships from the ground up to accept these types of modules. Friend and foe missiles and defenders. I think the thing that you're going to hear a lot is legacy code. That's a big reason why you're not going to see much iteration on those types of weapons at all. They're so fucked up. Like I think it was for friend or foes. I heard kind of secondhand from a guy that asked a dev about it. The code is so fucking weird for friend or foe missiles that it's like a better idea to just abandon that and start from the ground up again. Like, it's just one of the interesting things about playing a game that's over 10 years old. And you're working with the same fucking code. You just get weird shit that's just hacked together, and the people that designed that are gone. They can't unfuck it up. No documentation, blah blah blah. Yes, there you go, Gunvoid. Just suddenly your off-grid booster dies because a whole bunch of friend or foe cruise missiles hit it. Yeah, sounds good to me, man. I'm full for it. And then there, you can get like a friend or foe shield for your links that costs like, I don't know, $1 a minute to run. Yeah, let's get some more microtransactions in this game. Fuck yeah. Cinnabon, Onai, Venai. Oh Jesus. It's a lot of stuff I don't really want to see. A lot of stuff I can't nude off the damage from. This is my hole. It is mine. I am comfortable here. We're running low on heavies. Angoth, I am attempting to shoot other players with my spaceship. I'm looking for them in space, and I'm trying to fly over to where they're at. I'm trying to find them, and then I'm trying to kill them. It's one of the stations. Where's the other station? There it is. I think. Yes. The Legion looks like it's at that other station. This guy's not coming out. Let's head over to the other station. See if the Legion's over there. I'm not in a good bumping ship, mostly because I don't have Web of Fire, but what I can do is nuke the piss out of a Legion so it can't activate a prop mod, which is almost as good as a Web. Oh, hey, Nuke. How's it going, man? Queenie! Queenie! I don't believe you, sir. I don't believe you. Your ship name is Lie. Oh my gosh, look, you're like inside the station. What are you doing? You doing maintenance or something? Hope this guy's asleep. Help us. No, I don't bump on. Don't you dare fucking move, you piece of shit! Do you know how long it took me to build up that velocity? How dare you! Now I'm ricocheting like a pinball. How could you? That was a good bump, too. You know what? Who are these guys? That's me! Alright, so how many people did they bring in? They brought in at least 10, yeah? Like a whole bunch. I saw a bunch of Logi and other stupid bullshit, so... Guildmalt, no, not gonna kill a thing. They have too much T1 Logi. We're gonna let them go. So why am I taking sentries? What to file a bug report? That's a bug. That shouldn't actually happen. Why's my mouse moving around? It looks like it's shooting around for no reason. Calm as a cow, yeah. This guy looks like he's AB fit. EULA requires you to not disclose bugs and file them. I don't know about that, Eltman. I'm not allowed to show communication between myself and developers or GMs. I didn't ruin that at all, so I think I'm well within my rights. Feel free to file your own petition of being a pissant about it, you know. Look at this! you guys. Ain't that something? You want to shoot Armageddon? Good. I got my damage control on. I can take this! 3 augurs. You know, there might be something in the laser. I don't freaking know. I definitely do got this. Yeah. I'm not fighting them, Moop. I have no intention. My links are docked up. I'm not going to fight these guys. There's no reason for me to ever do that. Let's count their logi. 1, 2, 3. My damage output is equal to one of these guys ripping him out. There's 0 I can do to this gang. But they seem infatuated with shooting at an Armageddon, so good for them. How do I have my second character on a picture like that? I'm using a third-party tool called ISBoxer, Cranky. And what it does is that it puts one client on my main monitor and a second client on my second monitor. The second client is 1/4 the size of the main client. I can click on either client and it'll put the secondary client on the main monitor. I can also hit a shortcut and it will put either client onto the main monitor. And pretty much I could do the same thing if I could do the same thing using my broadcasting software, Open Broadcast software, but this is a lot more convenient. It's a lot easier to do, is what it comes down to. Never seen it before? What I'm doing is like baby stuff with ISBoxer. A lot of the higher level functionality of managing like a zillion clients is a bannable offense now. So that you're not allowed to do a lot of the like cutting parts of Windows and putting it all onto one client or running scripts or anything to run through a whole bunch of clients. So all I'm doing essentially, I'm doing an optimized version of Alt plus Tab. That's all I'm really doing. And it allows me to portray either client as I focus on it so you guys can actually see what's going on either screen. So when I was running around with 2 characters in the past, you guys wouldn't see what's going on my second character. So I'd be running around with an alt that's scouting and I'd say, oh, hey, this gang sucks. I'm not going to go over there and fight that. Or, oh man, someone just bumped my link alt off the gate. I wonder if he's going to survive. And people will be like, what's going on? This is boring. I am so glad they left. Yeah, I mean, one key doing multiple things is called a script. And that is a bannable offense. I don't, Queen. I really don't. Oh my gosh, multi-box stuff is such bullshit. I am so glad that people have been incredibly heavily limited in their capacity, their capability of doing multi-box stuff. it still really bothers me that you see mining fleets doing it and incursion fleets still doing it. It really bothers me just that that's still a thing. You can set it up so your scroll wheel activates things. So I think there's a line with that though. Have you seen the one man freighter ganks because of Iceboxer? No. I've heard of a number of different types of ganking. I mean, that's a fairly simple extension of Icebox PvP for ganking. That seems pretty simple to me. But I've never seen videos of it, no. Would it be possible to do solo incursions using Marauders? Maybe? I don't know much about Incursion Slayer. You'd have to talk to someone else about that. I don't think it would be very ideal, very optimized. I think there's a reason why people do it in very large numbers. Oh, Dinkle, I'm so happy. I'm really pleased that I'm getting positive feedback about uploading that content on the YouTube. Because it is a major pain in my butt to do it. So, the fact that people are enjoying that content, I am 2 thumbs up happy for you guys, and I'll keep doing it, and I'll try to be more on top of it. Sorry for not being on top of it the past couple of weeks. I was kind of hoping when I've been asking people about this, that people are like, yeah, I don't watch the past broadcasts, I just really kind of skip through and look for the fights, but it seems that people kind of have it as a TV show. So, they will put it on and watch it and listen. So, it's not so much like just the fights they're looking for, they listen to the whole show, so... if that's something that is still very much a thing, then hey, I'm more power to you guys. I'll keep on doing the full broadcast, and I'll try to do more highlights as well. More just fights and stuff. Ah, that's awesome, Dinkle. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah. I mean, like, the one thing that I've heard about people complaining about, it's the lack of music, but it's the only way for us to get unmuted content out there, and there's no issues for anyone in any country. So, listen to your own music. I mean, it seems that people like to have music that I play on the stream. We figured out a way to do that. We got it going. It's great. It means that I need to put more effort into the past broadcast content, but that's fine as well. It's not that much of a time sink. It's a time sink. Need more dragons. Why don't you give me some dragons? I don't know. Do you have like some super cute dragon gifts that I can share or something? Come on, man. You gotta work with me. Help me help you, okay? My big problem with the highlights, though, and I'll say this, is that we often have discussions going on, which I think are pretty useful to people, where we talk about mechanics or we talk about stuff, and it can be useful, like, even mechanics-wise. And I don't have a really good way of marking down when that happened in a stream. And that might be something I need to start doing, is like, man, that was a really good discussion. How long have I been streaming? 2 hours. Okay, jot that down. That's like my only issue right now with the highlights, is that I'd like to get that content in. I'd like to be doing more informative stuff. Maybe like making that like segments of doing informative stuff, because I really enjoy doing that kind of stuff. But right now I don't have a really good system for the ad hoc kind of discussions that we currently enjoy. Davey, I read some of the first talks about Ntosa's stuff, and people are excited about it, so I read about it. The updated stuff that Fozzie put out, I haven't read a word. I've talked to people that actually care, and they said it's good, I guess. I have no idea. It's not really my cup of tea. Like, the only thing I really care about is I'm able to fuck with dudes in force fights, and it seems to still be intact. I'd rather you stream more than adding or removing music. Adriel, that's not the issue. I need time off, and rendering video and cutting out audio and stuff, while it's kind of a chore, a lot of it is, it takes me like 15 minutes, and then I just go, jerk off or watch a video or go play a different game while it's rendering. It's not so much me not being able to stream because of it. It's just time out of my day sort of deal. And I do have a good system for it now. Like, I upload everything at night. I can upload like 5 YouTube videos at night. I can do like an hour of cutting audio and rendering, and that's pretty much all I need to do for like a week's content. It's no big deal. So it works out. And I need to take breaks. I can't play Eve all the time. I for the vast majority of you guys, you're here for the Eve. And that's cool. In fact, I'm not even really saving non-Eve content. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I would stream more if I didn't just stream Eve, but that also would mean that I just have more time out of the day, and I don't. So I'm pretty much streaming as much as I can right now, because I enjoy it. It's working out. A little while ago, you mentioned trying to go into null a bit more. Yes, it's still a thing. In fact, I've been flying around in implantless clones quite a bit recently, and it's working out really well. I actually can fly around battleships without ascendancies with the warp speed rig changes, which is good fucking job, Fozzie or Rise, whoever is in the balancing team and is listening to this. If you're actually listening to this, thank you. Good change. If anyone said that was going to be broken or a bad change, just don't listen to it. It's so good. Losing those rig slots is enough of a penalty. You don't need to nerf the CPU. But anyway, so I can actually fly around in ships I enjoy flying around in now. So it's more a matter of me just getting in with groups that do that and doing that, and then actually flying around with groups that are okay with me streaming. You've been out for a while? Yeah, there were changes to warp speed rigs. They used to reduce your overall CPU as a penalty. They no longer do that. They increase your signature radius. So now you can actually fit warp speed rigs onto most battlecruisers or battleships that need it without gimping gimping ships that are limited on CPU in the first place, which is awesome. In the past, you really only saw warp speed rigs onto things like drone boats, or Galente ships that have a lot of CPU anyway, or some Minmatar ships, some active tank ships. You pretty much could not put them on Caldari ships, and you had a hard time putting them on Amarr and Minmatar ships. Now you can actually fit them on ships, as long as the rigs aren't critical to the ship's functionality. They also slightly improved the speed of battlecruisers and command ships. They made command ships have cruiser levels warp speed, and they increased T1 battlecruiser warp speed from 2.5 to 2.7. You still have battleships with their base speed of 2.0, which is too slow. Hopefully at some point they'll be sped up a bit, but as for now, with 2 warp speed rigs, I'm almost as fast as a cruiser of warp. It doesn't cost me a lot to do that. The only thing it costs me is how effective I am on grid, which I'm okay with. I would rather lose fights and roam quickly than roam slowly and do slightly better or do better in a fight. So that's fine with me. I would still like to see the warp speed of battleships go up to like 2.2, 2.5 at bare minimum. At bare minimum, like 2.2, or if I have 2 rigs on, I'm going 3.0. No. Oh, well, command ships for a long while, I don't know what was going on with the prices, but they were very expensive. There's still no real reason to use them over Ishtars or other mainline cruisers like that. They're very limited in their ability to and their ability to move around and project damage. So there's not a lot of reason to fly command ships right now. If you're gonna fly a command ship, you may as well fly a battleship. You may as well fly like a APOC or APOC Navy, something like that. They're about the same price anyway. I think it's very likely sometime in the somewhat near future that battlecruisers and maybe even command ships are going to get application bonuses. I think that is what CCP may do to try to breathe some life into battlecruisers as a class, because they still need help, even with the warp speed changes. The warp speed changes were great. Oh, they were great. With one rig, my T1 battlecruisers are going as fast as a Tech 2 cruiser. Oh my god, it's so good. It feels so good. And even if you don't have any rigs, that 0.2 AU per second warp speed increase is felt so much. It's very noticeable. Because this bracket of warp speed below 3.0 is like exponentially bad as you go lower and lower. So even the slight increase from 2.5 to 2.7 it's really good. It feels really good. You just got your poop pushed in? I'm sorry, Darth. Yeah, I mean, like a really basic, simple application. I'm not talking Destroyer 10% per level application bonus. I'm talking like a 5% tracking bonus or application bonus would be good. There's a dude on Reddit that's talking about 50% reduction in signature resolution of turrets and missiles, which is insane. It's absurd. It's a great way to push cruisers out of the brawling metagame. I don't like it at all. I think a slight bonus is all you need really with battle cruisers. Just give a small, like 5% per level tracking bonus to turrets and like a 5% per level explosion radius bonus to missile boats. And they will do very well. Battle cruisers will be a thing. They already have MGDs and now they'll have application bonus. They will murder cruisers and they will do well, a lot better against Death Seas and frigates. It will be a much better position for battle cruisers. It will probably be to the point where people might consider them OP and the meta may shift, but I think it's healthier to see that and see that eventually kind of play out versus what we have now. Because I don't think it would happen fast. People might play with it, but I don't think it would be happening all that quick. I think it'd be cool to see. And then, on top of everything else, just please buff the Drake and the Hurricane, but I think all the other battlecruisers are in a pretty good spot. Do BCs get melted by BS in most cases? Yes, they do. A battlecruiser pretty much has the signature of a battleship, not quite, but almost, pretty much to the point where battleship weapons are going to apply and track them just fine. They have less EHP by like an order of half, and they don't put out battleship level damage. The only thing that battlecruisers ever really had for them is that they apply well to cruisers. They have cruiser level guns. That's their thing. That's their shtick. Except for attack battlecruisers. Battlecruisers are just big cruisers. They're meant to eat cruisers. No, it would not be fine if they're OP, which is why I'm advocating for not a significant increase in the application if this application bonus does actually come to exist. You don't need a lot for it to be good. You don't need a lot for a battlecruiser to really effectively track cruisers. And I think Acrimis, this is why we're at where we are right now, is that line of thinking where if something's OP, it's okay because they'll get expensive and it'll be sorted out by cost. That doesn't work. It's a bad way to balance the game. because you had that with Titans, you had that with super capitals. Oh, they're really expensive. Players will never get that many of these things. AoE Doomsdays are fine, and suddenly we have a handful of them. Suddenly we have dozens of them. Suddenly we have hundreds of them. Cost isn't an issue. Gameplay needs to be balanced based on merit and based on actual performance in the game, not by cost. I mean, there's only so much you can really do when you're looking at cost. And it tends to be a very bad metric to use to balance something. And Queen does a really good job pointing out, it doesn't, if we're talking about T1 battlecruisers being super powerful in relation to even T1 or T2 cruisers, being really effective ships, to the point where it's pushing all cruisers out of the metagame, it's really unhealthy, and cost is never going to be an issue. Because basic materials, like T1 minerals, are always going to be available, and price is never really going to go up. There are so many... That's a different issue entirely. There's so many people that mine minerals and do production and have no idea about what a profit margin is. And how to actually effectively put things onto a market to make money. There's so many people doing that for T1 production. T1 ships are more or less always going to be very cheap. Oh, you like the... It's not sewing. What the hell is that? What is the cat doing? What's that called? I forgot. Fuck. I forgot what that's called. But yes, it's a very crafty cat. Maybe start to see this one. What's this one, Captain? It's a whole bunch. Oh, yeah. I like it. The Here You Go Sard one. Boo, bitch! My only problem with some of these is that they're not GIFs. I wonder how large that GIF, that video is if I turn it into a GIF. No, it's not gonna work. It's not a GF, it's a GIF. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, let's just save that as a GIF. That cat just walk over a bunch of mouse traps? That poor thing. It's not knitting. I think it's crochet. It's crocheting. I think that's it. It's not knitting, it's crocheting. Is it needlepoint? You can take my... It's called needlepoint? I thought it's called crocheting. Fuck, I don't know. Sorry, Carson, you make badass stuff. You're allowed to know about that. That's like your domain. That's what you do. You have a very manly beard. I don't think anyone can say that... Take your manhood away. It'll grow right back. It'll be like, foop. It's tape? Oh, it looked like mouse traps. I was like kind of getting sad watching that GIF. Oh, cross stitching or needlepoint? Okay. Alright. My mama used to do those. I thought it was crocheting, but yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, that sounds right, Captain Craft. Cart, I haven't seen any pictures of your latest handiwork. You need to keep putting those onto Twitters, man. It's really cool to see. I really enjoy that. I really appreciate you sharing that stuff. It's really cool to see. I love seeing craft work like that. Oh, hey, okay, alright guys. Let's see here. Alright, well, that's gonna be it for me tonight. I think I've evened out for the night. Just not really getting the content, so we're gonna stop for now. So, I'm still not really sure how I'm going to approach weekend streams. I think it's just gonna move over to a US prime time, probably on Saturdays, is what I'll end up, landing on. So that is going to mean that I'm not really going to be focusing on EU content. I'm sorry, EU dudes, if there are any EU dudes here, but I just cannot fit it into my schedule. I'll try to do it on, say, Sundays. I cannot do it on Saturday. I'm doing Alliance Tournament stuff on Saturday right now. And it's going to be that way for the foreseeable future. So, unfortunately, that is just how things are going to be for my stream schedule. So, when I finally decide what the schedule is going to look like, I'll update it onto below the stream there. But I will be on tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific. I think it's 1 a.m. GMT. So I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, Mr. Hyde seems to be flying around in... Is he in a rattler? Oh my god. He's flying around in a rattlesnake, so go watch him do crazy shit in a rattlesnake. But fly reckless, and I hope you enjoyed Mr. Hyde.